If you've been following the channel, you'll know that tool changes have become one of my favorite types of 3D printers. The idea is simple: multiple tool heads, no waste, and the ability to print different materials or colors without throwing half a spool into a poop bucket. Today we're looking at the new Flashforge Creator 5, and after spending some time with it, I can already tell you this printer does a lot of things right. But there are also a few things that I really wish Flashforge would improve. So, let's take a look.
9, 6, 9, 5, 6, 9.
The Creator 5 is Flashforge's new Toolchanger printer, and unlike the Creator 5 Pro, this version comes as a more bare-bone machine. There's no enclosure, there is no chamber heater, the back is open, and there is no front door. So realistically, this machine is aimed at PLA, PETG and TPU users. For ABS, ASA or other engineering materials, you're probably going to want the Pro version, or you'll need to do some modifications yourself. More on that later. Our first impression of the Creator 5 was actually very positive. The machine feels solid, the frame feels rigid, and despite being a tool changer, the overall construction inspires confidence. The printer weighs around 14 kilograms, which isn't particularly heavy, but that makes sense considering it's missing the enclosure panels and chamber hardware found on the Pro model. The thing that immediately stood out to me though is the tool changer design, and to be more specific, what Flashforge decided not to use. Most tool changer printers rely on pogo-pins. You dock a tool head, the pogo-pins make contact, and power and data are transferred through those contacts. It works, but it also introduces another potential failure point. Flashforge decided to go a different route. There are no pogo pins. Instead, every toolhead has its own dedicated umbilical cable. Power and data are connected directly between the toolhead and the controller. The carriage itself also uses the same concept. Honestly, I really like this approach. It feels robust, it feels reliable, and long term, I think it could be a major advantage. In fact, I kind of wish Snapmaker had gone this route with the U1. Not because the U1 has given us problems, it hasn't. But from a purely engineering perspective, direct cabling simply feels like a more durable solution. Of course, none of that matters if the printer can't actually print. Fortunately, the Creator 5 delivers. The printer quality we've seen so far has been genuinely impressive. Layers look clean, dimensional accuracy has been good, and perhaps most importantly, the tool changes have been flawless. I haven't seen failed pickups, I haven't seen missed docks, I haven't seen any weird behavior. The tool changer just works, and it works fast. Tool changes take roughly 7 seconds. 7 seconds! That's quick enough for you to barely notice them happening. Combined with the zero waste approach, it creates a very smooth printing experience. And speaking of zero waste, this is really the reason why tool changes are becoming so interesting. No throwing hundreds of grams of filament into a waste bin. No giant piles of spaghetti sitting next to your print. The Creator 5 stays true to that philosophy. If you're looking for a genuinely low waste multi-material solution, this printer absolutely delivers. And honestly, that's one of its strongest selling points. Now let's talk about the things I don't like, because no printer is perfect. The first one is surprisingly simple. Where is the poop bucket? Seriously, the printer does generate waste during filament loading, unloading and flow calibration, yet there's no dedicated collection solution included. So you end up with little pieces of filament hanging around inside the printer. It's not a huge issue, but it feels unfinished. A tiny waste bin would have solved this immediately. Luckily, someone in the community has already designed a solution. We're planning to install it and test it soon, and from what I've seen so far, it looks promising. Moving on to software. Overall, the operating system is fine. Everything works, menus are easily enough to navigate, features are where you'd expect them to be. I'm hoping Flashforge continues optimizing the firmware, because the hardware certainly deserves a smoother experience. Now we arrive at probably my biggest complaint. The Creator 5 is currently not open. You can't SSH into it. You can't install Fluid. You can't install Mainsail. You can't tweak the system. You can't really modify anything. For regular users this might not matter, but for power users and tinkerers this is painful. We've already contacted Flashforge and asked them if they would consider opening up at least some advanced settings or allowing alternative front ends. Their response was that they would take the feedback into consideration. So, fingers crossed, because I genuinely think this machine would become even better if advanced users had more freedom. And that brings us to the obvious comparison, the Snapmaker U1. Right now, these are basically the only two serious consumer toolchanger printers competing in this price category. When it comes to software, the U1 wins pretty comfortably. It's open. There's already custom firmware. There is a growing community. There are additional features, Fluid, Mainsail, RFID integrations, and lots of customization options. But when it comes to hardware, I have to give the advantage to Flashforge. The Creator 5 simply feels incredibly solid. There's a lot of metal throughout the machine. Toolchanger mechanism feels robust, and I really like the direct cable approach. Long-term reliability is incredibly important for a toolchanger, and Flashforge seems to have put serious thought into that aspect. The Creator 5 doesn't include RFID readers for filament identification. There is also no official upgrade path to convert this machine into an enclosed printer, at least not yet. However, I've been working on my own solution, the Creator 5 Top Hat. After extensive testing, it's officially passed. And by the time this video goes live, the files will be available for free download. The front and rear enclosure sections are still being finalized, so you'll need a little more patience for those, but they're coming. Flash Studio is basically a fork of Orca Slicer, which is actually good news. If you've used Orca before, you'll feel right at home. Most of the features work exactly as expected. The one disappointment is the camera implementation. The live feed quality is pretty poor. Low resolution, low frame rate, not particularly useful. Interestingly, Flashforge claims the camera itself is capable of 1080p at 30 frames per second. Unfortunately, because of the software limitations, we can't verify that claim at this moment. Hopefully, that's something that can be unlocked in a future update. Let's talk pricing. The Creator 5 launches at $799 US, and currently there is a $100 discount available. That brings the price down to $699. The Creator 5 Pro is listed at $949. After discount comes in at $849 US. The same promotional structure applies across Flashforge's official regional stores. So where does that leave us? Honestly, I'm impressed. The Creator 5 has exceeded my expectations. The print quality is excellent, the Toolchanger is fast, the Toolchanger is reliable, the machine feels solid, and the zero waste workflow is exactly what I was hoping to see. Does it need improvements? Absolutely. I'd love better camera support, and I'd love Flashforge to open up the platform for advanced users. But even with those criticisms, the Creator 5 is shaping up to be one of the most interesting Toolchanger printers currently available. And with more users finally receiving their machines, I'm genuinely curious to hear what everyone else's experience will be. If you already own one, let me know in the comments. I'd love to compare notes. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Say it louder, say it louder.